Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we're going to go ahead and make a video about something that recently quite surprised me because I was checking out Amazon, kind of just looking around on there and checking out some of the dinosaur deals that they had up at that time, and I stumbled upon this set, and in this set I found something that I had no idea Imaginext ever even made, and that is a Scorpius Rex. I was kind of expecting them to make one at some point, maybe more of like a larger kind of articulated version, but in fact they did make one. It's a bit smaller than I would have expected. As you can see in the bottom right hand corner of this package, we actually have a pretty cool looking Scorpius Rex from Imaginext, and that's really neat. Again, it was so surprising that I instantly placed an order for this. If you can't tell, if you haven't been able to tell quite yet, I am a big fan of the Scorpius Rex. I don't know, something about the hybrids in the Jurassic World franchise, they always get me. They always just kind of drag me in, and the Scorpius has done that. I've definitely been enjoying every version of the Scorpius that has released, and again, having an Imaginext version out, I just knew I wanted it. This set does have some other cool stuff in it, though, actually. You can see a Dimetrodon in here as well, and there is even a Mosasaurus, which is surprising, like a very small version of a Mosasaurus. I know there was a larger Imaginext Mosasaurus that came out at one point. Then you've also got, I think that might be a Stygimoloch that we have up here, or maybe a Rex. I'm not too sure what they were going for because the Imaginext figures are always a little bit stylized, but I would think it's probably a Stygimoloch. And then you also have a human figure in here. I'm not entirely sure who that is meant to be. Maybe one of the Camp Cretaceous kids, I'm not too sure. But you also have this very interesting light, which I'm not really sure what the goal behind that one was, but again, it looks like it's kind of a cool set, so let's go ahead, pop it open, and we'll check it out. So here's everything that is contained within our package, which actually is quite a bit. And what's cool about this set is when I acquired it, it was on sale for like $11.99, so like 12 bucks for all of this is a pretty good deal if you ask me. I think the original retail was around 20 if I'm not mistaken, so even at $20, it's still a pretty decent deal. But we'll just kind of run through each and every piece of the set here really quickly. So first of all, you can see we've got a Dimetrodon, and the Dimetrodon was released prior to this, I think in a slightly different color variation. I don't believe it was in this color, but I could be wrong. But basically, the Dimetrodon is something we have gone over in the past because I did actually review that figure here on the channel. However, this one is still pretty cute. Again, definitely a decent looking version as far as like what you would expect for an Imaginext Dimetrodon. You can see we do have the teeth actually painted and everything, and they even have a gloss coat, which is nice. You've got the glass eyes for the Dimetrodon, decent detailing and everything throughout, and the color is basically on this one is a light green for the primary body color. You also have a light sort of a tan coloration for the lower body, and then you have a really nice kind of translucent sort of orange sail up there for the Dimetrodon, which is pretty cool. It does actually have articulation as well. You can articulate the legs, and it would be all 4 legs that you can articulate. Nothing else though, no tail articulation, neck articulation, no jaw articulation, anything like that. But again, it is a figure we've gone over in the past, but still pretty fun. We've also got some stuff in here like, again, like weapons. You've got like a little grabber. I wish this actually worked. That would be pretty neat if this would actually extend and grab. That would definitely be cool. But you can see these just are basically fun little extras to help you capture, or in some cases maybe kill, the dinosaur or other prehistoric creature, because we're only 50-50. Actually, we only really have one actual dinosaur, which is this one, because the Mosasaurus would obviously be a marine reptile, and then we've got a Dimetrodon and a Scorpius. Like, the Scorpius isn't a real dinosaur. I mean, it is in the Jurassic World grand scheme of things, but it's a fictional hybrid. But you can see, again, these little extras are definitely pretty neat, decently detailed for what they are. Of course, we also have, as I mentioned, a Mosasaurus in this set, which is a pretty interesting Mosasaurus. I've never seen this one prior to this set. It's got a purplish tone of color to it. It does have a translucency overall, which is kind of interesting, and again, is sculpted decently for being kind of like a baby Mosasaurus. But one thing that's actually intriguing about this, and it's not something you see very often when it comes to Imaginext, is the fact that you don't have a glass eye. The eye is actually painted on this one, which is one of the first times I can recall actually seeing that for the Imaginext line. But outside of the eye, there actually is no other coloration on the Mosasaurus at all. It's basically just created in that translucent purplish tone, and you can see the teeth and everything sculpted on the inside of the mouth, but no paintwork included in there. It does have overall like a nice satin shine, so it kind of has a wet look to it, which is pretty cool, but definitely not the greatest figure ever, but it's still kind of neat to see that Mosasaurus, especially considering I've never seen that one before. Then we've also got this little Stygimoloch, which is kind of cute. Again, the eye is actually painted and not given a glass eye. I don't know if I've seen this guy before. He's a very small figure. Again, normally when it comes to the smaller Imaginext figures, the really small ones that you can buy individually would be these, and obviously you can see that Stygimoloch is a good bit smaller, or at least I assume it's a Stygimoloch. There are actually no species names on the back of the packaging, so it's basically your best guess, and since these are always very stylized, you're never really too sure unless it's as obvious as it gets, like the Scorpius. But you can see, again, detail-wise, it looks okay, but it's kind of like a, almost like an amber tone with a translucency to it, which kind of makes it hard to really pick up on the detail when it comes to this one. Like, it's really hard. It looks muted to me. Like, the detail looks very washed out, but it's hard to tell if it is in fact washed out or if it's just the fact that the figure again has this awkward color to it and a translucency to it, which causes it to be a little bit hard to really make out, you know, any sort of detail on the figure. But it's kind of fun. No articulation or anything for that one. We also have the human figure, which again, I don't know exactly who it's meant to represent, but I'm thinking maybe one of the Camp Cretaceous or Chaos Theory girls. Definitely looks like it would be. Looking at her, honestly, I feel like it would be Sammy. It really looks like Sammy overall, but again, without confirmation on the packaging, I can't say for sure, but that's definitely my guess. But you can see, again, her outfit is pretty decently sculpted. She obviously has that Imaginext style, again, like larger than normal feet and everything, larger than normal hands. Head almost has a little bit of like a Lego sort of a look to it when it comes to the overall appearance, but you've got some decently sculpted hair and everything. She does have this kind of like a backpack on, and you can remove that, I believe. Yes, you absolutely can, so we could take that off if we want, and now you can see the articulation of the arms goes out and then also can swivel around, so you've got some decent mobility in the arms for her. You do also have neck articulation, which can go left and right and kind of wiggle up and down, but I don't know that it's actually supposed to articulate up and down. And then you also have the legs, but the legs unfortunately move together. They don't move independently, which is very common for these figures. I don't think there's any sort of swivel in the midsection or anything, no. But overall, she's decently sculpted again. Definitely a decent figure as I drop her, but she also has a torch, which you can see here, which is pretty cool. I like the fact that we have like that red-orange with a translucency to it, definitely helping to create the kind of illusion of fire, which is a nice addition to the set. And then you have her backpack, which you can actually see there's like some slash marks there on that. And then I actually don't think I would call that a backpack. I'm not really sure what you would call that, but obviously she was attacked at some point, as there are some slash marks right there. But then you also have this little launcher, like a missile launcher, which does have this little part that has a net on it, and that is how you are supposed to attempt to catch your dinosaurs. If we can launch it here for a minute, you can see it goes pretty far and works pretty decently. Also has some okay detail to it, but nothing too impressive. Then we've also got this gigantic spotlight over here, which you can see actually has a peg, and a lot of the figures, that one doesn't. So the Scorpius I saw there, you can see there's a peg hole on the underside of the foot, and you can basically place that onto there. She also has it. Again, we're just going to keep calling her Sammy because I'm pretty sure that's who it's supposed to be. But you can see she as well has the peg holes and everything, so you can stand them on there if you choose to. Not a whole lot going on when it comes to this. You can articulate the light because it's actually, it arrives in two pieces, and you have to kind of slide these two together, which means you can now swivel it. And then, of course, you've got a big red button up here, an Imaginext button, actually. And then you press that, and as you can see, you've got a pretty cool spotlight, which I can see definitely being really neat, really handy for like a little dino toy photography if you're trying to recreate different Jurassic World scenes. Like, it just looks really cool, so it would be a really fun addition to any sort of photography, in my opinion. And then, of course, the entire reason I actually purchased this set is for the Scorpius Rex, and look at how cool this looks. It actually looks really, really neat. It does have a translucency to the top part, just like a lot of these figures have had. You can see straight through it there. You can kind of see my finger on the other side. It has a purplish tone, but again, as you can see there, you could definitely see right through that. But the lower part of the Scorpius has a light tone, kind of like a light sort of an off-white or a yellowish tone, and that unfortunately you can't see through, and as same goes for like the legs and the arms and stuff. But you can see when it comes to the head sculpt of the Scorpius, I think they captured it fairly decently. It actually looks pretty good overall. The skin texture as well is pretty darn impressive for what it is. You've got like those scoots moving up and over the top of the head. I think if you were to repaint this one, it could look actually pretty cool. We can see the teeth are all sculpted, but they're all kind of like blended together. I mean, I can get the idea of what they're going for with like the interlocking teeth, but it does look kind of awkward on the figure with the way it's created. It would have been nice to have an articulated jaw for this one, but unfortunately we do not. But as you move down, you actually pick up some random orange kind of splattered color here on the back of the Scorpius, which is intriguing because that's definitely not a color you would see on the Scorpius Rex. But as you continue to move down, you can see the muscle definition leading down the arm. You've also got some quills kind of hanging off of the back of the arm, though they are sculpted in a way where it makes it look much more like feathering rather than quills. But the arms do articulate forward and back, and of course the same for both arms. As you continue to move down, you've got the muscle definition here in the leg, and you can see you even have that like extra claw back there on the back of the leg, just like you see on the Scorpius. Moving down, you even have like sickle claws, which again, when it comes to an Imaginext foot sculpt, they're kind of goofy, but it looks okay. They also do have a nice gloss coat for the nails, but unfortunately no paint work. And again, the skin texture is really quite nicely done as you move down through the course of the leg, and you've got a nice curve to the tail where you lead down here, and those quills on the end of the tail actually have that same sort of orangish tone that we see up there on the back, but maybe a little bit of a brighter version of it. But the detailing of the tail and everything looks okay. Again, it's definitely not the best representation of a Scorpius Rex that you are going to find, but I was just so surprised that there was even an Imaginext version out there, because I hadn't seen or heard of this prior. That, oh, also you do have leg articulation forward and back, which I didn't mention, but I hadn't heard of it prior, so I was just so amazed. And again, I know a lot of people on here share my love of the Scorpius Rex and would probably be interested, so I really wanted to just kind of get a quick video up to show it to you guys and let you know that that was in fact out there. So there is everything that we have included in this set, and honestly that Scorpius would make a really good baby Scorpius. And also the fact that it has very nice kind of like glass eyes, or in this case, you know, plastic eyes, but it looks really, really good when it comes to the eyes. If only the Hammond collection could capture the eyes of their figures like the Imaginext line does. But I don't think we really need to measure anything in this set. It's kind of obvious if you are familiar with the Imaginext line roughly what the sizes would be, but we will do a size comparison. Just one, as I feel like that's really all we need. And as you can see, you've got Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack, Glovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A human being next to our Imaginext set. And obviously you can see they're pretty much the size range you would expect them to be. The Imaginext line has been out for so long that I feel like at this point you should have a pretty good idea of the size, but if not, hopefully these figures next to the Imaginext set will help to give you an idea. So honestly, the Imaginext line as a whole definitely isn't for everyone. It's obviously a line of dinosaur figures heavily aimed toward children, which is good because, again, you know, a lot of the figures that you see in the main line from like Mattel might be a little bit much for little kids, so these figures work great for young children. However, me being an adult collector, I do partake in the Imaginext line from time to time if the figures are cool or unique enough that it kind of draws me in. And again, the Scorpius absolutely did. I was just so shocked that there was in fact a Scorpius. I thought I had like every version of that dinosaur that was released so far, far, and then this one popped up and I instantly knew I had to have it. And I was really happy to see this set as a whole because there are some pretty cool figures outside of the Scorpius Rex itself. Again, you've got a Sammy, or at least I assume it's Sammy, which I had never seen before. I didn't even know that she had an Imaginext figure. We also have some smaller figures as well, like the Mosasaurus, the Dimetrodon, and what I believe is a Stygimoloch, which are also really cool. And then on top of everything, you've got the kind of spotlight, which would definitely be a really nice piece to, if you like, you repainted it and added like just a little bit of realism to it, like maybe some weathering or something. It would be really neat to include that in some dino toy photography. But again, it's definitely just a fun set, nothing overly impressive, but still really cool to know that there was in fact a Scorpius Rex in the Imaginext line. So if you are interested in this, I will include a link in the description to where I snagged mine from Amazon. So make sure you check that link. Hopefully it's still on sale. Grab it if you want it, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.